Believe it or not. First legendary explorer Robert Ripley, now Michael Ripley, follows in his footsteps. He and his friends, Samantha and Cyril, circle the globe in search of the strange, the bizarre, the unexplained. Leaving no mystery unresolved, against all odds, they challenge you to
believe it or not. Hello? Who's there? Mrs. Winchester? It is you. You've come back.
Oh, goodness. You nearly ran me over. Where on earth are you off to in such a hurry? Paul?
I saw her, Ruth. She was right here. It was the ghost of Mrs. Winchester.
I'll see your 5 and raise you 10.
Ouch! Serious stakes.
What's with the bag?
I'm off for the weekend. My great-uncle needs some help.
What kind of help?
Oh, you know, just help. Family stuff. Okay, that's it. I'm out of here.
Wait a sec. What if we need to reach you?
Call myself.
And if it isn't working, come on, Sam, cough out the address.
Fine. If you need to reach me, I'll be staying at Winchester House, San Jose, California.
Excuse me, but did you say the Winchester House? As in the most famous ghost house in the Western Hemisphere?
I knew I'd have a hard time getting this one by you. Come on, let's go.
Cool.
My uncle's been living in the Winchester House almost all his life. He's the caretaker of the estate now.
So this is the famous mystery house, huh? Cool. Love the funky architecture.
Wait till you see the inside. They don't call it the Mystery House for nothing.
Listen, guys, I'm here to see my uncle and set a few things straight. This isn't a fact-finding mission, so take a quick look around and then you guys are out of here. Right?
Right.
Ruth Leslie, trustee for the Winchester estate. You must be Paul's niece, Samantha.
My friends, Rip and Cyril. Ruth was the one who called me about Uncle Paul. He thinks he saw,
a ghost.
No mysteries, huh? Now, what's this?
Ruth? Oh, Ruth, you shouldn't have.
A little something I picked up for you.
She spoils me.
Hello, sir. I'm Michael Ripley, and this is Cyril. We work with Sam.
This is a real pleasure. Are you joining us for dinner?
No! I mean, I know they'd like to stay, but they're working on some very important research and have to leave. Right, Rip?
Didn't we finish that research, Cyril?
Yeah, I think we did.
There you go. We'd be delighted to stay, sir. I'm looking forward to hearing all about the house.
That's me with Sarah Winchester, the year she died, 1922. Sarah was fond of our family. My father helped build this house, and my grandfather was a butler to the Winchester family before that. We go back a long way. That's why Sarah's will assigned me as caretaker to her estate for life.
Sarah must have been well off to have built such a spectacular place.
Sarah's father-in-law made the family fortune with the Winchester repeating rifle.
The gun that won the West and made thousands of Native Americans lose their lives. Sarah was grief-stricken when her husband died at a very young age, so she consulted a medium to try and contact him. Instead, she was told that she would be haunted by the victims of the Winchester rifle all her life. Sarah immediately began building onto her house in an attempt to confuse the ghosts. She thought they wouldn't catch her if she set traps for them, so she hired carpenters to work around the clock. For the next 38 years, they changed an 18-room farmhouse into a 160-room estate, full of rooms with no doors and hallways that lead to nowhere. Every night, Sarah would play her organ and then ring the tower bell, summoning friendly spirits to the Blue Room for a séance. That séance bell has not rung since the night she died. Now Sarah is playing the organ again. I've heard her. But enough about that. It's time for dessert.
Poor Paul. Have you ever heard anything so sad?
I don't know. What if Sarah is back? Maybe Paul did see her.
Cyril, please tell me you don't believe in ghosts.
I would. But I don't want to offend any of them.
Excuse me, I'm sorry to interrupt. Here are the documents you asked for, Ruth.
Samantha, this is Morris, my legal assistant.
This is an affidavit that recommends your uncle be relieved of his duties. As Ruth mentioned, we are concerned about your uncle's safety, Miss Seaver. But I must also keep in mind that we could be held responsible and even sued if anything should happen to Paul.
I know Uncle Paul has claimed to have seen ghosts lately, but I assure you, he's as sane as anyone in this room.
Yeah, he's as sane as I am.
Saner. Uncle Paul loves this place. It's his life. He would never leave of his own will.
That's why we called you, Miss Seaver. We're hoping you can convince him that he should retire from the Winchester house.
Samantha, I understand how you feel, but it's for his own good. Besides, we're just trying to save your uncle the embarrassment of a court hearing. Come on, Morris. Let's leave them alone to talk it over for a few minutes.
There's nothing to talk about. Uncle Paul's not crazy.
Samantha, either he's tweaked.
Or there really are ghosts.
Mrs. Winchester?
Listen, do you hear that? Where's it coming from?
That way. I think it's coming from the ballroom.
Come on!
Hello, Mrs. Winchester.
Uncle Paul?
I just saw Mrs. Winchester. Too bad she left through that wall before you had a chance to meet her.
I'm gonna get to the bottom of this. Split up. Everyone take a door.
Weird.
Oh. Dead end.
Uh-oh, the blue seance room. This is the last place I want to be. Hey, who's there? Ah! Oh.
Cyril?
What happened?
I heard footsteps.
Whose?
I don't know. The room was empty, so I took the only other door out. Suddenly, I was surrounded by darkness. I've never felt anything like it. Like I stepped through a doorway and fell into another dimension.
Actually, you stepped through a doorway and fell 8 feet.
Cyril, are you okay?
I'll live. I just fell through one of Sarah Winchester's ghost traps.
Samantha, do you see how dangerous this house can be? Your uncle could get seriously hurt.
Yes, I see. But there has to be a reasonable explanation.
It's a tomahawk.
What? How did that get here?
This just proves my point. The situation is getting out of control.
Here's my card, Samantha. Think things over and give me a call. I'm sure we can work something out.
This wasn't here when we came through earlier.
So, you're not going to tell me a ghost dropped it, are you?
No, but we should still check it out. Come on, Cyril, let's get to work.
I accessed the database at Bion HQ and did a search for Indian tomahawks, and this is what I got. It's a 200-year-old Lakota Sioux tomahawk.
Wait, here. Zoom in on those markings on the handle, under the blade.
What do you mean it's genuine?
We got a match from the database.
Okay, all this proves is someone is going to great lengths to play a stupid joke on my uncle.
Or a real ghost dropped it.
Well, it's time to prove it one way or another.
Well, as I always say, when you've got a question that needs an answer, go high-tech. I set these motion detectors at every entry, door, and window.
This is a waste of time. What kind of ghost would show up on a motion detector?
Nothing can enter or leave this house without us knowing. In folklore, there are two kinds of ghosts. Apparitions, which are seen, and poltergeists, which move objects, like war tomahawks.
Or organ keys.
Well, motion detectors can also catch human beings, and I predict that's what we'll find.
Samantha, Rip, you better have a look at this.
I don't see anything.
You wouldn't think shyness would be a problem for ghosts, but they sure make themselves scarce whenever someone else tries to get a look at them.
Samantha, maybe Ruth and Morris have a point. This place is a little dangerous for your uncle.
I don't know, Rip. He's been fine up until now. And besides, this is his home. No, there's something going on here, and I'm gonna get to the bottom of it.
Mrs. Winchester, are you still here? I knew you'd come back.
Whatever Uncle Paul saw out that window, it didn't show up on the motion detectors. See, the only motion is us, in this room.
Wait a minute, what's that?
Motion in the rear hallway that leads to Mrs. Winchester's bedroom.
It must be Uncle Paul.
Why'd you put a motion detector on the second floor? There aren't any doors leading out to any balconies.
There may not be any balconies, but there definitely was an exterior door.
Where? This shows a second-story room with no stairway.
Oh, no!
Mrs. Winchester, you've come back. It's so nice seeing you again.
Another doorway to nowhere. That Sarah had a truly warped sense of humor.
I don't understand. Why would Mrs. Winchester summon me to make me fall like that?
Maybe what you saw wasn't Mrs. Winchester.
I knew it. Angry spirits of Native Americans. It's their revenge.
There are no angry spirits here. Mrs. Winchester must have just made a mistake. I'm sure that's it. It was just a mistake.
Okay. So maybe Ruth and Morris were right about this place not being safe for Uncle Paul. I'll go and talk to them. Maybe I can buy some time until we figure out what's going on here. If I hurry, I might be able to catch Ruth at her office. Can I trust you guys to look after Uncle Paul?
Of course.
What's that supposed to mean?
I don't need any company, boys. I just want some time alone in the seance room to see if Mrs. Winchester will talk to me. I certainly don't need anybody babysitting me.
We just promised Sam that we'd keep you company, that's all.
He can't fall through this door like I did, and we can stand outside the other door. Why not give him a few minutes alone?
Please, Rip.
All right, but we'll be right outside the door if you need us.
Mrs. Winchester, it's been so many years. I've missed you terribly. Oh! Of course I can't shake your hand. You're a ghost.
No sign of him. You?
Nada.
Mrs. Winchester! I'm right behind you, Mrs. Winchester! I'm coming! Rip!